Hey there, welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look at the 5th film in this franchise, and for now, the last, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. This was released in 2017. It's about 2 hours, 15 minutes, and I have mixed thoughts on this one. I did see this in the theater. Haven't seen the others in the theater, unfortunately, technically. Anyway, this will have spoilers for the 5th one, so if you haven't seen it, you have been warned. If you don't care, then proceed along. So we do have a few returning elements from the previous films, and this one is almost like a reboot of sorts. On Stranger Tides could be also considered a soft reboot. I love all the previous films so much, especially the first one. This is the one film that I don't love. I really like it. It has great elements, but as a whole, it's not the same. It just feels like something is off a little bit. We do have 2 directors, and a new writing team, so overall, off the start, it's a little bit different. It has great elements, great stuff going on. I'd say the biggest problem is the pacing. Like, the action scenes are so fast, fun, just super great. But then, after that, basically after each action scene, it kind of slows down a little bit. Which makes sense. It's a story. It needs to do that. But I feel like the pacing of the previous films was a little bit better. Again, especially the first one. This feels most like the first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl, which is a masterpiece. And then the other ones are just awesome. Yes, even the 4th one, which I love. But anyway, we do have some returning faces from the previous films, such as Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, once again, a bit older this time. We're following him. And he's continuing his story from the 4th film. We do have Jeffrey Rush back as Captain Barbossa, once again. And we do have... Okay, this is going to be spoilers, again, I already said before. So we have Orlando Bloom back as Will Turner. Kind of a cameo. He's in the beginning and at the end. It's kind of important. It'll make sense. We have Keira Knightley back for a few seconds as Elizabeth Swann, which is great. And we have a few other faces. Kevin McNally as Gibbs is back. He's always fantastic. And then we have Scrum from On Stranger Tides. He was a member of Blackbeard's crew. If you know, you know. So he's back and fun. And yeah, those are like the returning faces. I think of all of the returning cast, I think Johnny Depp is still probably the best one. Although he's mostly drunk, which doesn't... he was always kind of drunk in the previous films, but this one he's almost overly drunk. Like, it's almost like a crutch. Like, he's not the same Jack as he was in the first film. Like, it's just not the same, but he does a great job. It's just not what I wanted from Jack. I wanted a serious Jack, one that was, I don't know. Anyway, kind of like the first film. Barbossa's great, as always. Jeffrey Rush is given a bit to do. I wish he was in it a little bit more, but his story kind of intertwines with Jack's. It's pretty good. But we do have some new characters. Pretty much every film we get new characters. And so this one we have a new villain, because Davy Jones is gone. And then so we have Javier Bardem as Capitan Salazar, who is a ghost pirate hunter. And he is hunting Jack because of basically he's trying to kill Jack because he got disfigured a long time ago. And so that's kind of like this origin story for Jack, which is cool. And so he wants revenge. He wants to kill him because he basically screwed him over in the past. So he's the villain. We're following him. He's awesome. He's just great. Unfortunately, we don't get to see a lot of him, which is one of the problems. Anyway, we do have a couple new faces, new young pups, I guess you could say. Kaya Scodelario as Karina Smith. She's like the scientist. People call her a witch. She's a horologist, and she is basically trying to get this new item called the Trident of Poseidon, which is the main thing that everyone's after in this film. And so she's trying to get that to try to restore her father's honor and legacy. And she's kind of brought in with Jack, and she gets entangled in like the new adventure. And lastly, we have Brendan Thwaites as Henry Turner, and by the last name, yes, he is Will's son, and he's pretty good. Again, he's brought in along with Karina and Jack, and they're kind of all on this adventure, and then Jack's crew gets mixed up in it, and it's just really fun. And then Barbossa tags along, and they're all trying to get to the bottom of the ocean, so they can get the Trident of Poseidon, which is basically the thing everyone's after. And so it's like this big race to the finish. Who can get there first? And it's fun. It's really fun. Compared to the third one, At World's End, especially, that one was insane. Oh my word. The most bonkers of the franchise is the third one. And so we move away from that. It's much more like The Curse of the Black Pearl, where it's a simple adventure chase. That's what this is. And it does a good job at being an adventure chase. So we've got Salazar. He's killing people left and right, killing the British, killing the English, all these different people. And Barbossa nearly gets killed. And so he strikes a deal with Salazar. You know, if he brings him Jack and the Trident, then he'll spare his life. And so, you know, Salazar is hunting everyone, basically, trying to get to Jack and the Trident. And Jack is just kind of stumbling his way through this adventure, which is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Again, he's drunk for most of it, which at a certain point it gets old. It gets kind of tired, I will say. I will admit, as much as I love Jack as a character, he's probably my favorite Disney character. Probably. Don't quote me on that. But, he's just kind of there, like, doing stuff. And at the beginning of the film, he basically has a new ship called the Dying Gull, and it kind of represents his lot in life. He's just kind of like, he's sunk to his lowest point. And so when Salazar shows up, you know, wanting to kill Jack, that kind of brings him back into the fray for one last adventure. And yeah, it's cool. It is PG-13. There's not a lot of like intense moments, but there are a few with Salazar when he starts killing everyone. That is kind of intense, but otherwise it's pretty lighthearted. Most of the Pirates films are a little bit intense, but they're not bloody. They're Disney films, so don't expect like, you know, blood and gore and that kind of stuff. There's a lot to like in this for me. As a lifelong fan of this franchise, I love all the action set pieces, like the guillotine escape. That is fantastic. The bank vault heist, awesome. Salazar killing everyone, every scene with him, amazing. Barbossa, his interactions with everyone, great. The Black Pearl, a couple of mentions of that when it gets put back in the sea, that's great. Some of the references to the previous films, that's great. I love to see Will Turner back and Elizabeth, you know, as brief as they were. It was great to see him back. I loved seeing the Queen Anne's Revenge, you know, Blackbeard's ship from On Stranger Tides. That was great. Got a few references to that, which is nice. Let's see. There's some other ones. The ghost shark, or the I guess the ghost shark attack. That was cool. Also, any scene with Salazar's ship, and it's this awesome ship. It's like this ghost, like alive ship. It's so cool. It's called the Silent Mary, and it basically eats ships, and it's awesome. Any scene with that is crazy cool. Um, and yeah, that I love all the action. It's great. Also, we do have a funny cameo, much like in 3 and 4. We have, well, I guess he doesn't show up in this film, but we do have Paul McCartney as Uncle Jack in one scene, which is awesome. It's really funny. You'll know it when you see it. Or if you probably already know. It's a great scene. But we do not have Jack's father, Captain Teague. Unfortunately, he's not in this film, but I think it gets a reference, I think, which is nice. I do think a character that was not used very much was Shansa, the Sea Witch. I really liked her, and she was like, I think she brought Barbossa back from the dead. I mean, that was cool stuff. We got to see her in like 2 scenes. I wish she was like in it more. Anyway, the music is phenomenal, of course, as you would expect. The CGI is amazing, especially in the Jack Sparrow flashback, where we see a younger Jack and a younger Salazar, and that's like the origin story. Like, Jack's kind of like trying to get away from him, and he ends up trapping Salazar in the Devil's Triangle, or the Bermuda Triangle. I guess that's what they call it. That was great. And the CGI looked awesome, I thought. I like Karina's story. It's revealed that she's the daughter of Barbossa, which, that kind of, I'm mixed about that, because we don't really see Barbossa have a kid in any of these. And it's kind of weird. It just came out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't, I respect what they were doing, but it just didn't work for me. Like, there's no foreshadowing. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. So that was weird. And of course Barbossa dies at the end, which he survived death before. But I think this is permanent, which I guess is fine. He's done enough in these films where I think his story is ended. I think that's fine. That he sacrificed himself. That's fine. The villain's great. I would have liked to see more of him, for sure. More of Salazar. I also would have liked to see more between Will and Henry, and more from Karina and Barbossa, because they're both related to them. I would have liked to see more from them. Yeah. Also, the end credits scene. There is one, which is awesome. No, it's not a Marvel movie, but but there is an end credit scene, and it's extremely important. This is the most important one of all of them. Most of the end credit scenes have been funny or just quirky, or kind of important. The third one was important. But this one has Davy Jones' return. Yes, Davy Jones is back, kind of, maybe. And it's just awesome to see him. Like, it's just a shadow, but that's all you need. So apparently, when his trident got broken, it released Davy Jones? Okay, that's cool. I love that, because Davy Jones is incredible. So, yeah, that was interesting. I do feel like that this movie is probably the last one, because this was marketed as the final adventure. And it probably is, because after all the drama with Johnny and Amber and Disney, it's probably the end for Jack. Which, honestly, as a conclusion to this series, I think it did a great job. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. It's not like Crystal Skull, which was an abomination. So, yeah, of all the films, I watched this one the least. It's the weakest one for me. It has awesome moments, great scenes, Um, Also, I do want to mention two really funny scenes where Jack is on the beach and there's the wedding scene. The wedding scene, that is hilarious. That is just, it's so insane. Like, it comes out of nowhere, but it's just fun and funny that it just works. And also the horology scene where they're discussing how to get to the trident, and Karina says that she's a horologist, and then that gets into a whole discussion. Adults will get it. You'll get it. There's a lot of subtle jokes for both kids and adults, which is great. I think it's probably the funniest film of all of them, which is great. Um, and yeah, I think I mentioned everything. This is probably the second shortest one after On Stranger Tides. I mean, all of these films are kind of long, but I mean they're massive action dramas, so it kind of works. Do I like this one? Yeah, I'm gonna give Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I'm probably gonna give it a 7.8 out of 10. I really enjoy it. It's my least favorite. It's got enough good to outweigh the bad, I think. There are some bad moments, like the writing is a little bit generic at points, and the action kind of slows down at times, and the villain could have been seen more. Um, but it's great. I mean, I'm just a big fan of this whole series, so if they do anything next, awesome. If they don't, that's fine. So, yeah. It's my favorite Disney franchise, so yeah. What do you think of the Pirates films? Which ones do you love? Which do you hate? Do you like this one? Do you not? It's got a mixed reaction. But let me know. Which one's your favorite? My favorite's the first one, of course, but yeah, that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for my other reviews for the first four, which will be soon. And until then, I'll see you then. Take care. I'll see you for the next video.